fuck out of here, man. You want to fuck me down?
Yeah, I did that.
You want to fuck
Oh, easy. Keep on walking.
Seven people were arrested Thursday night at the New York University campus when protests against a conservative comedian who spoke to the school's college Republicans turned violent. Gavin McInnes, a co-founder of Vice Media and a conservative comedian, was pepper sprayed and said he had to fight his way into the building at NYU to give his speech, which he had to cut short. McInnes said that the left is taking away free speech on campuses and trying to filter out any ideologies that differ from their own.
Political correctness is 100% a war on free speech. It pretends it's about egalitarianism and equality and saving people from evil Nazis. All a myth. And by the way, as Milo pointed out, Milo Yiannopoulos the other day, he goes, say I was the ogre that you were pretending I am, I should still have the right to speak.
McInnes said that because this group does not use reason to back their arguments, they throw words around like racist and Nazi, and that they will not engage in conversations or a logical debate, which he saw firsthand Thursday night.
They're sitting there screaming, and I went up to one of them and I said, look, there's 2 microphones here. Why don't you come up? And he's holding a sign that says, like, Nazi scum, go home or something. And I go, come up here. Let's discuss it. And I walked right up to him. I had the mic, and he just kept going, hey, ho, Nazis have got to go. And he wouldn't take the mic. And I go, I'm offering you a forum here to tell me why I'm wrong. You don't even know what my ideals are, what my ideas are. You're refusing because it's not about the ideas to you. It's just fashion, it's sports, and they've chosen a really dangerous sport. Their sport is censorship.
McInnes.
When the person asking to sit in the most respected seat in our country imitated a disabled reporter, someone he outranked in privilege, power, and the capacity to fight back. It kind of broke my heart when I saw it, and I still can't get it out of my head.
Okay, can you just stop there? She still can't get it out of her head, but she never looked it up. What is going on here? It can't be that easy. It's like when Obama talked about the pay gap and said women earn less. Yeah, they earn less because they tend to not pursue more expensive stuff. They're also not equally represented in sanitation. Did Obama not look it up, or was he purposely obfuscating the truth? Is that what she's doing here? I can't quite play it out. Just for the record, for all you dummies who just assume this emotional-driven politics is rooted in fact, the reporter that she's talking about doesn't go like this. And I love doing this with liberals. I love saying, let's play it out. Let's play out your version of it. So there's a very severely handicapped cerebral palsy reporter who says, Mr. President, the interest rates will have to go up shortly. What are you going to do about the imminent inflation? You know what would happen if a reporter did that? Everyone that was with him in the press corps, whatever, would go, oh, this is a good question. I'm concerned about inflation rates. And you know how the president would answer? He would say, inflation's inevitable. You're right. But I'm confident that the economy, blah, 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 and explain it. So the reporter that she's talking about, that she clearly hasn't looked up, doesn't have any weird gestures. He just has a gammy hand, as the Brits would say, like someone whose mother did thalidomide. His head is perfectly normal, and everything else but this one little T-Rex hand, everything else is normal. Can you show this perfectly normal guy? I'll jump over here. Look at that thing. That's the only handicap part about him. This talks like a reasonable reporter. Hit play.
Missing puzzle piece you're looking for in the Boston case.
In the Boston case, my understanding is at this point it's rather circumstantial.
It's like Charles Krauthammer, a perfectly normal handicapped guy who appears to be delivering salient points. People don't make fun of people like that. Do you really think Trump is going to go, ha ha ha, his mother took thalidomide and his hand didn't grow properly, ha 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 ha? I don't think 8-year-olds do that. And he didn't do it. In fact, when he goes like this, he's making someone look flustered. This is Trump's thing. I'm solid. If you ask me about waterboarding, I'll say, let's do it. They're chopping off heads. Time to do it. Steven Crowder did it for, 22 seconds? They can handle it. They'll be fine. It's not torture. And then when other people are confronted with that, they go, oh, I can't help. He does this when he's talking about himself. It's called being effusive. It's what New Yorkers do. I blame Italians for it. But look at this. This is him doing it for just about everyone.
Well, how did you get him? They were sent by Russia. Russia.
That's the entire
They said,
DNC.
Senator Cruz, what do you think
Cruz?
of waterboarding? Oh, I don't want to talk about it. You know, he didn't want to talk about water. And they said to him, what do you think about ISIS? Oh, ISIS is very tough. Oh, ISIS is very tough. When you see the president of the bank, I mentioned the word regulated.
Is he talking about Jews there? He's saying Jews are retarded. I'm Jewish. I run the bank.
Going to Africa on a safari. There's not going to be any phones. You know what? You get me out of here.
That's
right?
enough. Stop. By the way, he's doing an imitation of himself when he doesn't have access to phones. Is that attacking the handicap? Now, here's what I don't get about this. We are in the week where we just saw a real-life special needs person, not someone with an imperfect hand. We saw a real-life special needs person tortured by Trump supporters. Has she not seen that? Can you pull that up?
Trump. Fuck people, boy.
Everyone has seen this, right? Is she trying to prevent a race war by saying Trump did it too and lying? Is this communist propaganda? I don't understand it, honestly. Is she a retard? Oh, I'm Meryl Streep. Oh, the president makes fun of people.
Andy,
Yes,
when
sir.
you were talking about this Obama amnesty thing, I wasn't clear how you feel about it.
I have mixed feelings about it, actually. I do think, I think the idea of deporting them is, first of all, I don't think logistically we can do it. And I feel like punishing children for something that they didn't do wrong is kind of a problem. So, but on the other hand, I'm not thrilled that he did it via executive order. I do think it's supposed to be more of a legislative process to make a law, like to make a decision like this.
Okay, so we're all clear. The 14th Amendment says that if a baby's born here, it's a citizen. And he was talking about older kids.
He was talking about children that weren't born here, but that maybe came here as kids.
Right. I just wanted to make sure that was clear.
Yeah, absolutely.
And we have 15 million of them already.
Yes.
Okay. Let's bring in another 800,000.
Well, you're not bringing them in; they're already here.
Let's keep another 800,000.
Well, are you? I don't understand the point of the money you have to spend trying to deport them and trying to track them down and do all of this. Why?
Well, you don't have to track them down. Attrition, if the beauty of this problem is you just tweak it a bit and make it a little more difficult for employers, they leave with their tail between their legs. It's not hard to get them out. You don't have to get buses and ship them out.
No, I understand that. I don't know. To me, I would just assume I'm close to an open borders guy when it comes to immigration. So I think if people want to come here, this is the greatest country in the world. We should let them come here as long as you know.
At what point? When do we stop? When is too many? 15 million is
never.
Stop with Victor. He should not be in.
But also, Gavin, along with that, I don't think people should come over here and get, handouts from the government.
Well, that's an inevitability. Look at ER in California. Every emergency room is filled with Mexicans.
I understand that, and I would like to not have handouts from the government too. But I have a problem with saying if people want to come here and live a better life, I have a problem saying no, we don't want you. You can't do that. That's not what this country.
That's what every country in the world does.
But that's not.
Hey, fellow white guys.
It's about to be a new year, and there's a few things we think.
These are the people I want telling me how to live my life, by the way. 2017 resolutions for white
guys.
guys.
Try to recognize that America was never great for anyone who wasn't a white guy.
Stop.
Can we all just agree?
Stop. I would like you to know what America was like for a white guy. First of all, we didn't steal the land from the Indians. We fought them for 400 years. Did a lot of bad shit, but had a lot of bad shit done to us. That was just to establish it. Then we had to have a revolution to get the British out. Then we had to have a civil war to end slavery. You know how many people died in that? 620,000 white guys died ending slavery. And then we had World War I for 100,000 guys. We had World War II, 400,000 guys. What are we at now? 1 million? I'm not including the tens of millions in Vietnam and Korea. All those white guys were drafted. They didn't voluntarily march off to fight Nazis. We fought on your behalf. Now you're in this resplendent oasis of freedom, and your first note is, you could be better, be butter. You're welcome, bitch. Go ahead.
Can we all just agree that Black Lives Matter isn't the opposite of All Lives Matter?
Okay, stop there. We know Black Lives Matter. When we say All Lives Matter, we're mocking your infantile wording. You guys keep reducing arguments down to two people just want to be in love. Peace is good. Hate is bad. And then if you disagree, we think hate is good. No, that's how toddlers talk. We're speaking your baby language and saying, of course Black Lives Matter. All lives matter. And then when we speak your own dumb language back to you, you go, that sounds dumb. Yeah, you're seeing an auditory mirror.
matter. There's no need to overcomplicate.
Yeah, don't overcomplicate it with
Blue Lives
reality.
Matter isn't a thing. Cops weren't born with blue skin.
Okay, stop. You see what they're doing here? Blue lives don't. And by the way, we said Blue Lives Matter using your silly language because it is relevant, because you don't seem to care. You say, what do we want? Dead cops. When do we want them? Now. And then what happens? Rafael Ramos, Wenjian Liu, is that his name? Yeah. 2 NYPD cops get assassinated. You said you want dead cops. You got them. No parades, no tears, not even some crocodile tears. So we're saying to you, hey, Blue Lives Matter. If you really care, you should care about all lives, but you don't. You just care about black lives. And the black lives you chose, Mike Brown didn't have his hands up, you chose a bunch of fake news stories. So your propaganda with your fake news and your oversimplification, we don't need to complicate it, it's getting people killed.
Right? I mean,
you're not black, by the way, and I'm not white. It's called a metaphor.
Woke. Stop saying woke.
We never say woke! I never said woke in my life! You're the ones who say woke! You can have woke! It's yours!
Woke.
Learn what mansplaining is, and then stop doing it.
Oh my God, could you be less self-aware, please? She's womansplaining to me what mansplaining is. And by the way, we don't mansplain. We have sort of an interrogative tone sometimes. Yes, we get a little frustrated when you call us idiots, but that's because you're womansplaining, or transplaining, or blacksplaining, or gaysplaining. Look at your mannerisms. You have this like, we're gonna do this just one more time. It's called a little thing called equality. You might want to try it. Fuck you and your splaining.
.com. All right, so Gavin, you've written a lot about this controversy and unpopular topic, so I'm going to start with you.
Okay.
Are men being discriminated against?
Yes, clearly. I mean, the data shows it, from danger in the workplace to alimony payments to all these perpetual myths that, like, women make less money than men. And we accept it because we can take it on the chin. We're very nice guys. But I'm getting sick of it. I'm getting sick of the way we're portrayed in sitcoms. I'm getting sick of the way fatherhood is trivialized and single motherhood is put on a pedestal, because it's bad for America. And I used to think women were too stupid to understand this, but let's treat them like grown-ups and say sexism in 2014 is a myth, and we're going to have to get back to what matters, and what matters is fatherhood.
Okay, so you're saying that alimony is totally skewed because men end up paying more of it, although women earn a lot more money now than when the laws and the rules were kind of set in place.
40% of women are breadwinners in America, in American households. 90% of the alimony payments are by men to women. Yep. The numbers don't add up, and women should be able to do the same math that men can do. No?
Jill?
I think your math is bad. Women are 40% of breadwinners in American households because of so many single mothers. You have a lot of women that were never married in the first place when they have children. So they
and they choose that lifestyle, and that's child abuse.
Well, they don't have anyone to pay those alimony payments to. What? Alimony payments are gender neutral. There are plenty of women pay alimony payments to husbands. No. And same with child support payments.
No.
Madonna lost $76 million on her failed marriage to Guy Ritchie.
She's not your typical broad. Look, the alimony concept was invented when it was the Nona cooking a spaghetti the whole life, and then she gets a band, she goes, I made spaghetti for you guys my whole life, and now I don't know have the skills. But now that women are working in the real world...
I didn't realize that's what it was. I'm so glad you
I didn't realize alimony was invented in Italy.
Yeah.
It was invented for
It was called alimonia.
It was invented for old-fashioned moms. We got new moms. You want equality? You don't get alimony. Sorry.
I think it's important to distinguish between the kind of equality that you're talking about, which is you're basically saying that women shouldn't have money to provide for their children. Men shouldn't have to pay money to provide for their children. When men actually petition for for custody of their children, they're very likely to get it.
What?
That's actually not true.
That actually is.
That is total bull.
When men actually request custody of their children, they almost always get at least joint custody.
Men always lose custody battles.
There's a big difference between they get it and they almost always get joint custody. I mean, there's a very big difference.
There's a massive bias against men on custody battles.
It's rare in contentious divorce proceedings where both parties are advocating for sole custody of the children. Most people that get divorced do actually come up with child support settlements and child care agreements that both parties can agree on.
Do you agree with Gavin
really
about fatherhood? That fatherhood is the missing link in society, and if there were more dads, I don't know, kids would be better off?
Yeah, I think fatherhood is a missing link. Yes, I do actually agree that we do need to talk about things like workplace injuries and deaths among men, that we do need to talk about the fact that men are much more likely to commit suicide and succeed than women, that we have a mental health care crisis among men, that men in America and around the world do suffer. But I think a lot of that suffering comes out of traditional gender roles and these expectations that men act tough, that they don't display emotion, and that they don't seek help. And I think that's also why we have a fatherhood crisis. I think all of these issues matter.
I think those are two different things.
I think it's feminists who are coming up with
point,
solutions.
we're actually coming out of that, and we've rounded the bend on things like mental health.
Feminists see single motherhood and they go, sisters are doing it for themselves. And sisters are abusing their children. If you have children knowingly as a single mom, you're starting a child out with a disadvantage.
Did your parents stay married?
Yes, they did.
Well, sometimes marriage doesn't work out, Gavin.
Sometimes marriage doesn't work out.
It doesn't make you a child abuser.
It does if you choose that. If you choose to be a single mom, which is the majority of single moms.
Speak at this march. Concerned Women for America was not welcome. Why are you laughing? It's a women's march. We should have been included. We are not. And so therefore, women are not monolithic. This is the same group of progressives who have been all along fighting against
Look,
Donald
she got
Trump
drowned out at the
and
beginning of that
conservative
clip,
values
but she
and-
said, this isn't a march for women. It's a march for liberalism. But what's even more confusing is it was a Muslim woman using liberals to further her agenda. So in that sense, it wasn't a march for liberalism. And this clip, I think, beautifully sums up the unbelievable absurdity of what was supposed to be a woman's march. You ready for this? Check this out. It's a man. Wait, don't play it yet. Can you just drink that in, please? Can we put this in a pint glass? I want to drink it. It's a man at a woman's march putting on an American flag hijab. I mean, I think this has to be a t-shirt. What the hell? Do Muslims even want men to wear hijabs? Isn't that blasphemous to their culture? If you went to Saudi Arabia and you said, hey, dude, look, I have a hijab on. Solidarity with women of America. He'd fucking blow himself up right next to you. I don't understand it. And I have a sneaking suspicion, by the way, that these women are not Muslims. They just learned how to do a hijab, and they're doing everyone up, including the men with the smallest balls in the world. I think his testicles are the size of a grain of sand. And by the way, dude, no one wants to have sex with you. You make women's vaginas into the Sahara Desert.
American flag hijab.
Nice work, Ginge. And then this woman wants to do it. Yes, we'll set you up. Part of the process to wear a hijab on your head that's the American flag is we blind you with the American flag. I mean, the allegory here is just bizarre. Women should vote, but should they? They should have the right to vote, but should they vote? This is what they do when they've given a political voice. Oh, here's a crazy one. Look at this black woman crying. I don't understand what she's crying about. And then they put their dumb hat on top of the hijab, which I'm not even sure you're supposed to do. I'm not sure you're allowed to do that. Look at her crying. You got duped, you useful idiots. You got duped by a Muslim to further her agenda, and she used your own feminism against you. She's got to go up there with Sean King as one of the greatest con people in America today, and I'm actually embarrassed at how easily she made you all look like complete fools.
You guys, you were watching in the green room as we were finishing the show. What do you think happened with the Malaysian?
I was on
flight?
Hannity earlier saying that I want it to be Muslims. And I'm not necessarily proud of that desire, but it's a feeling, so you can't get mad at a feeling.
Because you want people to be mad at Muslims, like they're not mad enough?
I think they're pretty sleepy when it comes to the threat of Islam. And Michael Moore, you know, after the Boston bombing, he wanted them to be rednecks. He wanted a Timothy
So
McVeigh.
did David Axelrod. And they said,
Yes.
well, it's Patriots Day here in Boston, and you know what that means.
Yeah. So I'm sort of as guilty as them because I have the same feelings on the other side. But my threat is real. Their threat is some dude with a trucker hat going, blow it up.
Yeah.
Well, that did happen once, in fairness.
Yeah, I was going to say that's
Well,
kind
let's
of
list
Okay, but why,
those times.
why would it be,
and-
okay,
For sure.
but I mean, the way I understand it, and this may be an overly simplistic view, Islam and Islamists, as Lou Dobbs, my friend, an office mate, we call them, they tend to have a problem with the West. Why would they blow up a Chinese, a mostly Chinese-packed Malaysian flight
totally
going to Beijing?
And there's this myth that they hate us because of our foreign policy or something. They hate us because we're infidels, and the Quran says destroy all infidels. Who's harder on Muslims than Muslims? They're totally insatiable. I mean, you can have a burqa on in Saudi Arabia, and some guy's going to come up and go, really? Purple socks?
Yeah,
Are you kidding me?
You have the rifts within because, for instance, like Osama bin Laden wouldn't even go to horse races because the music was a violation of his moral compass, his moral code. So, there's waging infidel against one another. So there's so many factors
within. You can't have a kitten calendar. Who knows what their beef with this plane was?
But they're so terrible.
Because God made those, and you're arrogant to think you can capture them with a photograph.